What is truly Scandinavian?
Grattis!
Absolutely nothing.
I haven't done one of these videos in a while. As a fellow Scandinavian Finnish person, I would say that our cultures are very different than cultures in Middle East, for example, since a lot of Middle Easterns have come to Sweden as refugees or as migrants. And our culture, for example, sauna. And sauna wasn't invented in Scandinavian countries, but as far as I know, it is big in Sweden, it's big in Finland. So that's one example of our culture. Are you quite sure that absolutely nothing, zero, has been invented in Scandinavia or in Sweden? That is a pretty bold statement.
Nada.
Niente.
There is no such thing.
Everything is copied. Our democracy,
människor som tillsammans formar framtiden.
credit goes to Greece.
But does every country have democracy? No. There are communist countries in the world, China, Cuba, North Korea. And how many people actually think that everything they have in their country was invented in that country?
Parental leave,
Thank you, Switzerland.
the iconic Scandinavian windmills, were actually invented in Persia. And we made the German bicycle a staple of our cities.
Who cares if your bicycles come from are originated in Germany, or that parental leave came from, what was the country, Switzerland? I don't know. Anyway, who cares? Isn't it more important that you have those things that rather than where did they come from?
Hvad med rugbrød?
It's Turkish,
What?
Smørbrød?
Dutch,
What about licorice?
it's Chinese, and
Midsommarstången?
German.
And it gets worse.
rumor has it the oh-so-Swedish meatballs might not be as Swedish as you think, but Turkish.
Even the Danish isn't Danish.
It's Austrian. And the pride of Norway, the paperclip, was actually invented by an American.
Was it MacGyver who invented the paperclip? But what do people think when they pick up a paperclip? Other than maybe, I need to put it in, in the papers. They probably think about MacGyver. Is it more important the country where is it from, like if the meatballs came from somewhere else, or that meatballs are associated with Sweden? I would think that it would be more important that it would be associated with a particular country rather than where it came from originally.
And while we're at it,
America, thank you for taking the first steps
in empowering the women's rights movement.
We're no better
Than our Viking ancestors.
We take everything we like on our trips abroad, adjust it a little bit, and
Voila!
it's a unique Scandinavian thing.
Of course, they had the black guy talk about Vikings and Viking ancestors. Of course, it could be possible that he does have Viking blood, so to speak. But when people think about Vikings, they tend to think about Scandinavians. And I've never met a person who thought that Scandinavians are black. But times change. What can you do? Still doesn't mean that Scandinavians are black.
Going out into the world inspires us to think big, even though we're quite small. Because every time we go beyond our borders, We add colors, innovation,
Progress.
adding the best of everywhere to here. In a way, Scandinavia was brought here, piece by piece, by everyday people who found the best of our home away from home. So, we can't wait to see what wonderful things you'll bring home next.
I'm being serious here. What was the point of this commercial? I mean, sure, it says that people have gone pretty much everywhere around the world and they have brought something with them. But then they kind of attack their own culture, their own country, their own customers, saying that nothing is ours, basically. We suck. I just can't imagine any country that isn't majority white to make this kind of commercial. And I think that is racist because, well, let's talk about refugees, because when white people talk about refugees, let's say, who are maybe more on the left side of the political discussion, I don't think I have ever heard anyone on the left say that countries that aren't white should take refugees. Or maybe they have said that they should take refugees, but they don't expect those countries to take refugees. It's only white countries that are expected to take refugees. Nobody's saying that a country like Brazil should take refugees. So people in white countries, they put themselves on this pedestal that we're gonna take them, and our countries are not perfect. Our countries are racist. Blah 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 blah. When they don't assume that, let's just say, a country like Japan would make a commercial like this and just attack their own customer base, their own country, saying, we haven't done anything really. They are kind of thinking that these cultures are inferior to ours. But that's just my theory. It's kind of like a child, well, not necessarily a child, let's just say a teenager, who is spoiled, and how he or she talks about that his or her parents are the most awful parents in the world when they don't buy them a new car or something like that, while well knowing that other people have much worse in their family lives. So I think the basic idea is the same, that people in white countries, they complain about United States, Great Britain or Australia, but they don't complain about countries like Saudi Arabia or Iraq, North Korea, Cuba, whatever, Mexico. They don't complain about those. Was that convoluted? Did you understand anything I tried to say? Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.